Welcome back to my YouTube channel. LC Coins World. Today, we are diving deep into the rich and controversial history of the 1925 Stone Mountain half-dollar, one of the most talked about and heavily debated commemorative coins in American numismatic history. This coin is not just a piece of silver but a historical artifact reflecting the socio-political climate of the United States during the early 20th century. The Stone Mountain half-dollar was authorized by Congress on March 4, 1924, and was struck as part of a fundraising effort to support the carving of the massive Confederate memorial on Stone Mountain, Georgia, which was meant to commemorate three major Confederate figures: General Robert E. Lee, General Thomas Stonewall Jackson, and President Jefferson Davis. The carving on Stone Mountain itself is the largest bas-relief sculpture in the world and was a project initiated in the early 1900s, but due to delays, financial issues, and changes in sculptors, it was incomplete by the time the coin was released. This coin was intended to rally public support and generate funds through the sale of these half-dollars. To finance the sculpture's completion, the coin's obverse was designed by the famous sculptor Gutzon Borglum, who is best known for later designing Mount Rushmore. The obverse features a powerful image of Generals Lee and Jackson mounted on horseback, with the words Stone Mountain boldly inscribed above the two Confederate leaders. Borglum's depiction was bold, stylized, and full of symbolism reflecting both reverence and Southern pride. The reverse of the coin features an eagle perched on a rocky outcrop, clutching olive branches in its talons, surrounded by the words United States of America, half-dollar, liberty, and memorial to the valor of the soldier of the South. The date 1925 is also inscribed, as well as the phrase "In God We Trust." It's important to recognize that this coin exists within a specific historical and cultural context. The Stone Mountain half-dollar was released at a time when the Lost Cause narrative was gaining momentum in the South. This narrative sought to romanticize the Confederate cause and portray the Southern states as noble defenders of constitutional principles, rather than participants in a war to preserve slavery. The coin was minted in large quantities. Over 1 million pieces were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, though many were not sold and later returned to the mint to be melted down. Despite its production numbers, it remains popular among collectors due to its unique place in the American commemorative coin series and the controversies that surround its creation. The coin was originally sold for $1 to maximize fundraising and was marketed through various campaigns across the South. Buyers received the coin in elaborate presentation boxes and promotional materials that tied the purchase of the coin to Southern heritage and pride. The campaign even offered special editions with countermarks for specific states or events, making the collecting of these coins a more varied and complex pursuit. Many of the coins were distributed during parades and ceremonies honoring Confederate veterans, adding another layer of cultural significance to the piece. Numismatists and historians have long debated the legacy of the Stone Mountain half-dollar. Some view it as an important example of early commemorative coinage, while others see it as a problematic symbol tied to a revisionist history of the Civil War. Regardless of one's view, the coin remains a critical object for understanding how memory, history, and politics intersect within American numismatics. Over the years, the Stone Mountain half-dollar has been the subject of significant scholarly interest. Collectors value the coin for its artistry, historical context, and connection to larger cultural movements in the United States. In terms of value, the 1925 Stone Mountain half-dollar varies widely depending on condition. Coins in circulated grades typically range from $30 to $60, while uncirculated specimens can fetch well over $100. Coins with particularly sharp strikes or that are certified by major grading services like PCGS or NGC can reach several $100s or more, especially those with pristine mint state grades or those with unique toning and eye appeal. Some varieties such as counterstamped versions are even more valuable depending on rarity and provenance. The coin's legacy continues to evolve, especially in the modern era, as public conversations around monuments and memory become more nuanced. The sculpture on Stone Mountain has drawn renewed attention and criticism, with calls for reinterpretation or removal due to its association with the Confederacy and white supremacy, and this ongoing debate naturally extends to the coin itself, making it not only a collectible item but a historical talking point that continues to provoke thought and discussion among historians, collectors, and the public alike. For this reason, the Stone Mountain half-dollar is more than silver. It is a mirror of American values, struggles, and changes across a century of history. In this video, we will explore not only the design elements and production history of the coin, but also its cultural reception, the political environment in which it was issued, the people involved in its creation, and the ongoing conversations that make this coin as relevant today as it was in 1925. So get ready for a deep and comprehensive exploration of one of the most storied coins in American history, the 1925 Stone Mountain half-dollar, right here on LC Coins World, where every coin tells a powerful story. Today we are taking a deep dive into one of the most iconic and historically significant coins in American numismatic history, the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin is not just a piece of currency, it is a tribute to a fallen president, a reflection of a nation in mourning, and a turning point in the story of United States coinage. The origins of the Kennedy half-dollar trace back to one of the most tragic events in American history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. His sudden death shocked the world and plunged the nation into collective grief, and almost immediately there was a public and political desire to honor his legacy in a lasting and meaningful way. As part of this tribute, the United States government decided to create a new coin bearing the image of President Kennedy. The decision was made within days of his assassination, and the half-dollar denomination was chosen because it was large enough to accommodate a dignified and detailed portrait, and because the Franklin half-dollar, which had been in circulation since 1948, could be respectfully retired. The coin was designed and approved with extraordinary speed. The obverse was created by chief engraver Gilroy Roberts, featuring a left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy based on a presidential medal that Roberts had previously designed. The reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo and features the presidential seal with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch with rays and stars surrounding it, symbolizing strength and peace. This design was based on the Great Seal of the United States and reflected the nobility and power of the American presidency. Production of the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar began in January of that year, and the first coins were released to the public in March. The public response was overwhelming, driven by emotion, patriotism, and a desire to keep a physical reminder of President Kennedy. Millions of people lined up at banks to acquire the coin, but rather than spending it, many chose to keep the coin as a memento or tribute, creating an instant collector demand. This led to a unique situation where the coin was technically in circulation but rarely used in everyday transactions. The 1964 Kennedy half-dollar holds the special distinction of being the only regular issue of the coin to be composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 12.5 grams and measuring 30.6 millimeters in diameter. This composition was standard for U.S. half-dollars at the time, but it would change drastically just a year later due to the Coinage Act of 1965, which was enacted in response to rising silver prices and coin hoarding. Beginning in 1965, Kennedy half-dollars were struck with a copper nickel-clad composition making the 1964 issue the last of the true silver half dollars. Minted for circulation, the 1964 issue was produced in enormous quantities to meet public, with over 273 million coins minted between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark, while the Denver issues are marked with a D mint mark on the reverse below the olive branch in the eagle's claw. Despite the high mintage, demand remains strong, and the U.S. Mint considered issuing more 90% silver coins in subsequent years. However, as silver prices climbed and hoarding continued, the government shifted toward less precious metal content. The massive production and emotional value of the 1964 Kennedy half dollar created a lasting legacy. The coin became a fixture in American culture and continued to be used for decades in both circulation and as a collector item. In addition to regular strikes-proof versions of the 1964 Kennedy half dollar were also produced at the Philadelphia Mint, with approximately 3.9 million proofs struck. These proof coins are highly sought after, especially those with cameo or deep cameo designations, due to their sharp contrast and mirror-like surfaces. Over the decades, collectors have paid close attention to various varieties and eras in the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar series, such as the accented hair variety in the proof coins, which features more pronounced hair strands above Kennedy's ear. This variety was part of the original obverse design and is thought to have been changed after Jacqueline Kennedy expressed a preference for a softer look. Today, the 1964 Kennedy half dollar remains a popular coin among collectors and historians, not just for its silver content but for its emotional and historical significance. Coins in average circulated condition are typically worth a bit more than their silver melt value, but uncirculated specimens command higher prices, particularly those in mint state grades with strong luster and sharp strikes. High-grade examples certified by NGC or PCGS with grades of MS 65 or higher can bring significant premiums, especially if they have attractive toning or are part of a complete Kennedy collection. In this video, we are going to explore every angle of this historic coin, from its design and symbolism to its mintage and distribution. We will look at its cultural impact, the changing policies that shaped its production, the varieties that intrigue collectors, and the values that continue to rise in the numismatic market. We will also delve into the broader context of 1964 in American history, how a single coin became a national memorial, and how the Kennedy half dollar has evolved through the decades. But it all started here, with the original, the silver, the solemn and powerful 1964 Kennedy half dollar. And here on LC Coins World, you are going to discover why this one coin still stands as one of the most important in American history. So grab your coffee, sit back and join me as we spend the next 2 hours unveiling the story of a coin that carried the hopes, the grief, and the legacy of a nation. Today we are exploring the fascinating and culturally rich history of the One Dirham coin from the United Arab Emirates, dated 2005, a coin that may appear modest at first glance, but holds deep historical, economic, and symbolic significance in the landscape of modern Middle Eastern currency. The story of the UAE dirham begins with the very formation of the United Arab Emirates itself, which was established in 1971 as a federation of 7 emirates, including Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Fujairah, Al Quwain, and Ras Al Khaimah. Prior to this unification, the region used a variety of currencies, including the Gulf rupee and the Bahraini dinar, but with the formation of the union came the need for a standardized national currency, and thus the dirham was officially introduced in 1973 under the authority of the newly formed Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates. The dirham was subdivided into 100 fields and became the foundation of the country's modern monetary system, reflecting both its rapid development and deep-rooted heritage. The One Dirham coin holds a special place in this system, as it represents the most widely circulated and commonly used denomination in the country. By 2005, the UAE was experiencing remarkable economic growth, spurred by both its oil wealth and its increasing role as a global business and tourism hub. The issuance of the 2005 One Dirham coin is closely tied to this era of transformation and progress in terms of design. The 2005 One Dirham coin continues the traditional themes that have defined UAE coinage. Since its inception, the obverse features a classic Arabian dollar or coffee pot, a cultural symbol of hospitality and generosity deeply ingrained in Emirati heritage. The dollar is not just a decorative element, it is a daily symbol of welcome and unity, used in both formal ceremonies and casual gatherings in the UAE and across the Arab world. The reverse of the coin features the denomination in both Arabic numerals and Western numerals, along with the country's name inscribed in Arabic script. The calligraphy is stylized and elegant, reflecting the nation's pride in its language and culture. The coin is struck in a copper-nickel alloy, giving it a durable silver-like appearance that resists corrosion, and where it measures approximately 23.8 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 6.4 grams, a size that is convenient for daily use while being large enough to allow for clear and detailed engravings. The One Dirham coin has seen minor variations in minting over the years, often produced at international mints, including those in Canada and the UK, and while the 2005 version does not feature a mint mark identifying its exact origin, these coins are part of a broader effort to standardize and modernize UAE currency while preserving its cultural roots. One of the most intriguing aspects of the One Dirham coin, including the 2005 issue, is the evolution of its design and the way it has responded to changes in counterfeiting technology. Economic and weighs around 6.4 grams, a size that is convenient for daily use while being large enough to allow for clear and detailed engravings. The One Dirham coin has seen minor variations in minting over the years, often produced at international mints, including those in Canada and the UK, and while the 2005 version does not feature a mint mark identifying its exact origin, these coins are part of a broader effort to standardize and modernize UAE currency while preserving its cultural roots. One of the most intriguing aspects of the One Dirham coin, including the 2005 issue, is the evolution of its design and the way it has responded to changes in counterfeiting technology, economic demands, and public use patterns. Despite being a small coin, it has been subject to intense scrutiny over the years, including size changes and weight alterations in some issues that have affected its compatibility with vending machines, parking meters, and public transit systems across the Emirates. For collectors, the 2005 One Dirham coin represents a key piece in the story of modern UAE coinage. While it is still relatively common in circulation, examples in uncirculated or mint state condition are of interest to both regional and international numismatists. Coins with sharp strikes, full luster, and minimal contact marks are often certified by grading services like NGC or PCGS and hold special value beyond their face denomination. The coin's significance extends beyond numismatics, as it tells the story of a country that has rapidly transformed from a group of small desert communities into one of the most advanced and globalized nations in the world. The dirham, and especially the One Dirham coin, has traveled in the pockets of millions of people, both locals and tourists, business owners and laborers, citizens and expatriates, symbolizing daily life, commerce, hospitality, and the UAE's ambitious vision for the future. In this video we will explore the historical context of the dirham, the details of its production, the cultural symbolism behind the coffee pot design and the economic and political changes that shaped the UAE in the early 2000s. We will examine the metallurgy, the minting process, the coin's role in commerce and its place within the broader GCC monetary framework. We will also look at how the dirham reflects broader themes in Emirati society, including its respect for tradition, its embrace of innovation, and its position as a bridge between East and West. The 2005 One Dirham coin is not just metal, it is a mirror of a nation's values, a snapshot of a moment in time, and a key artifact in the ongoing narrative of the Gulf region. So stay with me on LC Coins World as we uncover the full story behind this humble yet powerful coin in a journey that reveals the past, present, and future of the United Arab Emirates through the eyes of numismatics.